So real quick, Krebs cycle into that, just because that's the order that it happens, so might as well think about it in that order.
Great.
Do you remember what glycolysis ends with? So you get 2 pyruvic acid
Oh, yes.
molecules. Okay. I'm trying to think of the best way to. Okay. Because you don't like the carbon chains.
Well, it makes sense. It keeps it simple, but doing this has helped with that. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yes. Okay.
Just do the C's, and I'll follow
Okay.
along.
So, and you understand where the C's come from, does that, or no?
No, that's why
Okay.
this was helpful.
You know that formula, the C6H12O6? All that's doing is saying, if you were to write this whole thing out, how it actually looks, it gets really confusing. So we're just going to focus on the carbons, because they're the most important.
It just simplifies it then?
So it's saying 6 carbons, right?
Yeah.
That whole thing had 6 carbons. So you started with 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons is what you started with.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do a couple second glycolysis, okay?
Yeah.
So
ATP.
you get 2 ATP in, right? Then you get 2 ADP out. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm not going to write it to save time. So the next step was that these broke, right?
Yeah.
Because we put 2 ATP in,
So that
ATP, so
used
it used 2 phosphates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you got 2 NAD plus.
Yes. And then it forms into 2 NADHs.
And came in at the same time were 2 phosphates. Okay.
Because you had to use energy or the ATP for that, right?
This actually wasn't ATP.
No? Okay.
No. They're just some phosphate ions that were floating by.
Just like, hey, I'll join up. Okay.
Yeah. I won't get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Okay. So we put 2 phosphates on each side of both.
Yes.
Which means that we could get from ADP, adenosine diphosphate, we could get adenosine triphosphate 1, adenosine triphosphate 2, 3, and 4. So we can get 4 back.
Oh, so that's where the 4 come from.
So we insert 4 ADP, because
You
it's
get 4
diphosphates, so 4 ATP.
ATP because the phosphates connect or combine rather into the ATP.
And these 3 carbon chains that are left are called pyruvate molecules or pyruvic acid.
Okay.
One way off was fermentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, other way, it's going to go to the Krebs cycle. Where did this all take place in the cell?
In the... Are you doing that for a reason?
No, this is just the cell.
I know. I want to say mitochondria, but I don't think that's it.
Not yet, but that's where we're on our way to.
Yes.
Okay, so it's outside of the mitochondria.
Cytosol?
It's the cytosol.
Cytosol? Okay, I was like...
Cytosol or cytoplasm, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just happening inside of the cell, is basically. It's not in anything specific, it's just in the cytosol.
Okay.
Okay? But we're going to head to the mitochondria. Okay.
Does the one that goes to the left end up going to the mitochondria sometime?
The one that I had over here?
Yeah, where does it go again?
So it depends if we have oxygen or not.
Yes.
If we have oxygen, both of them are going to go to the mitochondria. If we don't, like if we're sprinting, our muscles don't have time to, our cells don't have time to use oxygen, so it goes through fermentation and makes lactic acid. And then we just get our energy from glycolysis is all we get our energy from.
So that's what Brother Baker was talking about. When it has oxygen, they both go straight to the mitochondria, and when it doesn't, then it has to go to the fermentation, do its thing, and then come back. Is that right? Because that's what he showed. Was this right here. Alright, I had to go back. Because it didn't have enough oxygen, and then go back, and then go to the mitochondria.
Yeah, what technically happens is that for the going back is eventually it goes back up to glucose through something called the Cori cycle, and then it'll go through.
Is that what this is? I know you can't see it, but...
No.
No? Okay.
So this is glycolysis right here.
Mm-hmm.
Glycolysis, fermentation,
Oh.
Krebs cycle, then electron transport chain.
Ah, okay. So that's one of
This
those
is a summary
of
everything.
everything. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So this is gonna go to the mitochondria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we start off, and there's a transition like right as he's going into the mitochondria, as he enters, okay? So this is just one of the molecules. Two will go through, but right now there's just one. Okay, do you remember what size I told you went with the CoA to make acetyl-CoA? How many carbons there were?
I want to say 3, but I don't think that's what it is.
There's 2.
It's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because it was acetyl-CoA. Okay, so yeah, 2.
Okay.
So you
So
have one
2.
extra one.
So one extra one. How do we get rid of that? Well, what did we say we just needed to go to mitochondria?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. So an oxygen, O2, comes by, makes CO2.
So it
Took
just,
one of the carbons.
it just snatches it away,
Uh-huh.
in a sense.
Yeah. At the same time, we're gonna have another guy coming through. It's NAD plus, I think, making NADH.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Then you get your CoA, right? Comes up, says, hey, let's be friends. So you got acetyl-CoA.
Uh-huh.
So how many carbons do we have left?
2.
2. So by the end of this, we're going to use everything up, right?
Yeah.
So that means at one point or another, we're going to get 2 O2 molecules to come through and give us 2 CO2 to get rid of the carbons, right?
So you need 2 more oxygens to get rid of the 2 carbons.
The 2 carbons remaining.
Okay.
Okay. So you can remember that the CO2, that you're going to have 2 per one acetyl group,
Okay.
just because there were 2 left.
Okay, so is that whole process then the electron transport chain?
This is the Krebs cycle,
Oh,
or
okay.
citric acid cycle.
Okay.
Same, different names for the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
There's a couple other things that happen.
Mhm.
This isn't the only thing. That's just one of the things, because you know that was for 2 carbons.
Mhm.
We also get things that will eventually get us energy. So we get FADH2 and NADH from this, as well as a little bit of ATP. Numbers. I'm trying to think numbers.